Sony is still in this slap fight with Microsoft for Call of Duty. As the day goes on, it seems as if the fate of the Activision Blizzard deal that Microsoft recently struck is still under heavy scrutiny. Find out why up next. What up, guys? This is Kalo. I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And again, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. So, I guess Shrek was right when he said the Activision Blizzard deal is like onions. It has layers, and it might want to make you cry. All jokes aside, this deal is legit spawning headlines week to week, with Sony now claiming Xbox wants them to be like Nintendo, a less effective competitor. An article posted to VGC by Andy Robinson dives deeper into this claim, stating the company argues that Xbox will become the home of FPS games if the deal is approved. Microsoft claims that Nintendo's differentiated model demonstrates that PlayStation doesn't need Call of Duty to compete effectively, but this reveals Microsoft's true strategy. Microsoft wants PlayStation to become like Nintendo, so that it will be a less close, effective competitor to Xbox. Post-transaction, Xbox will become the one-stop shop for all the best-selling shooter franchises on console, including Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War, Doom, and Overwatch. Sony then goes on to claim that having Call of Duty on their consoles is vital to their success, stating that the franchise is entrenched in gamers' psyche. Every installment since the first Call of Duty back in 2003 has consistently topped the charts. Ignoring these facts, Microsoft argues that Nintendo has been successful without access to Call of Duty. This misses the point. The decision identifies a wide body of evidence showing that Nintendo offers a differentiated experience to Xbox and PlayStation because it focused on family-friendly games that are very different from the PEGI 18 FPS games like COD. Sony then pointed out, in general, Microsoft's internal documents track PlayStation more closely than Nintendo, with Nintendo being absent from any internal competitive assessment. Now, some valid points are being raised here, and this does contradict when Microsoft has said in the past that they don't view Sony and Nintendo as direct competitors. Rather, Amazon and Google are their main enemies in the space. Now, it is true that companies like Google, Amazon, and even Apple could be bigger fish to fry here, because they do have the money to outright buy any company or developer they so choose. Now, Microsoft did claim in a summary of these arguments that we talked about before that Call of Duty is neither special or unique. Okay, I love you, Microsoft, but that is ridiculous. They went on to state that, quote, Call of Duty does not drive spend on PlayStation and accounts for only a redacted percentage of Sony's digital revenues worldwide. In 2022, Call of Duty gamers spent essentially the same time on Xbox as FIFA, Fortnite, GTA, Minecraft, NBA 2K, and Rocket League gamers. Importantly, they also spend around the same proportion of time on other franchises. This is inconsistent with Call of Duty having a greater ability to drive consumption of non-Call of Duty content on consoles than other popular franchises. However, Microsoft says it does view Nintendo as a competitor, and even highlighted the recent release of Bayonetta 3 to counter the idea that Nintendo is a family-oriented business. Now, an even more interesting quote here is, 1, Call of Duty isn't irreplaceable. The second part of that is, it says that the next console generation isn't until 2028 at the earliest. So, Xbox 720 for 2028 confirmed? Now, Xbox did state if Sony were indeed worried about the hypothetical withholding of Activision content, it would have at the very least 6 years to prepare a competitive response in time for launch of the next console generation. Now, other companies like EA did try this strategy with Battlefield, but those sales numbers weren't even in the same ballpark when talking about Call of Duty. Now, I did talk about how Phil Spencer stated in a podcast interview that he wants to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for as long as PlayStation gamers want it. But there is a recent rumor making the rounds that Microsoft offered Sony a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Now, the thing that really got me going was how Microsoft basically said Call of Duty isn't cool or isn't popular. I've done at least 4 videos within the last few weeks, let alone days, talking about this damn game. It is arguably the most popular game of all time, so let's just cut that argument out. So, I'm gonna pass the question off to you guys. Who do you think is in the right here, Sony or Microsoft? For me, I believe Sony is raising some valid points, but that argument then goes off the rails at some points. Sony is in the right for wanting at least some form of written confirmation that Call of Duty will remain on their platform. And Xbox is just plain wrong for saying Call of Duty isn't special or unique, or at least acting like it isn't. But that about does it here for all things gaming. I have been Kalo. Again, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content, and drop a like on the video. But I'll see you guys next time.